Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, I would feel a little bit concerned if we would go into a purely academic way of discussing it. After all, revolutions are something which is a matter of choice. Democracy is a matter of choice, after all. And this choice is made by those who are called. So the only thing we can contribute, I believe, from the perspective of the experience of Eastern Europe is to give some things which we kind of hit upon, and so that this is how they work. One thing which was very important from my personal experience was, and I could see pretty much the same in other Eastern European countries, was that in order to be successful, you have to do it quick and simple. The moment that you start postponing the solution of the problems for a more perfect, more comprehensive, more kind of balanced way of approaching it, the chances for the energy of the revolutionary process to fade away increase, because after all, every revolution is a disappointment. I mean, we all go to a revolution with the feeling that it has to make the world perfect, and the world never becomes perfect. So speed is a very important issue indeed. But if it has to be democracy, one of the most important things is including people, involving them in the process, which means maintain a certain level of awareness of what is going on. And the awareness, of course, is something which can have very technical, practical aspects. One of the things which is mentioned in this part of the agenda is elections. It is very simple. If you go to elections which give the possibility of 30 or 60 parties on more or less equal footing to go and face the electorate, the chances for success are very meager. It happened in Romania. Romania had a lot of parties which never really achieved any success until the convention was established. To a certain extent, in a very different way, this, for quite a period of time, was the case of Slovakia. Well, I don't give an example, for example, Poland and the Czech Republic, because there everything was clear. The electoral system didn't count that much, because the overwhelming majority of the Democrats was there, and they had one thing, the Civic Forum or Solidarność. However, in Bulgaria and Hungary, where an element of majoritarian system was introduced in the first elections, in Bulgaria, where you had the Union of Democratic Forces, meaning that the main democratic figures were in one and the same, were on one and the same ticket, the success was considerable, and it managed to bring things further. It doesn't mean that the elections are the only thing that counts, but they are the most important, because if we're talking about democracy, it is about elections. Roundtables, in fact, were a way to give some kind of legitimacy to the process. The legitimacy of a revolution is something like wooden steel. Every revolution is shattering a legitimacy that exists, and this is why all the roundtables have been shattered. In Poland, by the vote for the government; in Hungary, by the decision not to elect directly the president; in Bulgaria, by the leaving of the 39, the parliament, the Grand National Assembly. All over the place it happened, and this is normal because the process cannot be stopped. But going further into the issue of the technical things, a lot is said about anti-corruption measures, and of course it is important to face this very basic issue, especially in the cases here. However, things should not remain only in the realm of anti-corruption. One of the things which is very important in order to raise the public awareness, is to have figures for identification. I mean, Poland and the Czech Republic were blessed with Wałęsa and Havel. There might have been fights in between the inner circle, but I mean, to the people, this was so very clear. Well, together with the negative, we need to have some kind of positive model too. But what is especially important is that when we build the institutions, we need to make use of as much as it is there, the establishment of a separate institutions which oversee something in a very general way, can establish venues for a non-democratic rule in future. On the other hand, if you stick to the construction you accept that includes the other institutions, then probably the chances are better. A good example, as a matter of fact, is Georgia, which did not start together with the other countries of Eastern Europe, which to a large extent was facing very similar situation of anti-corruption revolution, and which established a constitutional order in which the coherence of the governmental structure was very strong. As a matter of fact, talking about presidential, semi-presidential, etc. republics, let us not forget that two of the Eastern European countries, Slovakia and Slovenia, eventually opted for the same model which was accepted by Poland, Lithuania, Bulgaria, and Romania. This is the presidential figure with no executive prerogatives except in cases of crisis, and some veto power, which is probably not that much of a legislative problem. Well, in fact, this is the position which Georgia is taking now too. So probably having this symbolic figures as opposed to very practical, detached institutions that can pretend to control the process or certain part of the process, be it only corruption, but somehow can establish a kind of a rule that goes beyond the electability, can be dangerous. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, the Minister of Foreign Affairs.